Eventually I saw something in the distance. A flicker of movement, faint, almost imperceptible, but real. I ran toward it, my heart hammering in my chest. It was a building. Small, square, and out of place, like a piece of another world dropped here by mistake. A single bulb glowed above the entrance, flickering. I hesitated at the door. The last time I entered an unfamiliar place, I'd brought something back with me. But out here, surrounded by nothing, the idea of a roof, of walls, felt like salvation. The door creaked open easily. Inside was an apartment, my apartment. Everything was exactly as I'd left it. The couch with the burn mark from when I'd dropped a candle months ago. The same half-empty coffee mug on the counter. The same reflection of the hallway in the TV screen. But the air was wrong. Too still, too quiet. I stepped inside cautiously, half expecting the other me to be standing there. But the place was empty. "Hello?" I whispered. No answer. I moved toward my bedroom. The door was slightly ajar. My heart pounded as I reached for it. When I pushed it open, I saw myself lying in bed, not moving. For a moment, I couldn't process what I was seeing. The me on the bed looked peaceful, as though asleep, except for the faint gray tint to the skin. I reached out a trembling hand and touched the wrist. Cold. Dead cold. I staggered backward, nearly falling. My breath came fast and uneven. "No," I muttered. "No, no, no." Then behind me I heard a whisper, soft, steady, right against my ear. "Took you long enough to find yourself." I spun around, but no one was there. The air shimmered slightly, like heat rising off pavement. Then the voice came again, but this time it wasn't a whisper. It was everywhere, filling the walls, the floor, the ceiling. "You left me here. You walked away and forgot that doors swing both ways." The lights flickered. The room darkened. My reflection in the window began to move on its own again, slowly lifting its head, smiling that same too-wide smile. I screamed and grabbed the nearest object, a lamp, hurling it at the glass. It shattered, shards scattering across the floor. But the reflection didn't disappear. Instead, it stepped forward, out of the frame of the window, out of the world it belonged to, i.e., and into mine. Its movements were fluid, deliberate, almost graceful. I backed up, tripping over my own feet until my shoulders hit the wall. "Please," I whispered. "What do you want from me?" It tilted its head. "To live, to feel, to be seen, isn't that what you wanted too?" I shook my head, tears streaming down my face. "You're not real." It smiled again, mirroring my expression perfectly. "Neither are you anymore." Before I could react, it lunged. I felt its hands, cold, impossibly cold, close around my throat. My vision blurred, edges darkening. I clawed at its wrists, but my fingers passed through like smoke. The world flickered again, images overlapping, the bedroom, the bus, the endless road, the dark church, each scene merging and tearing apart. "Let me go," I choked out. The reflection's voice wavered, merging with mine. "I can't, you made me." And then, just as my vision began to fade completely, the pressure vanished. I gasped, collapsing to the floor. When I looked up, it was gone. The room was quiet again. too quiet. I stumbled toward the mirror on the dresser, half expecting to see it standing behind me. But the reflection was just me, pale, shaking, terrified. But me. I turned to leave the room and froze. The me lying in the bed was gone. The sheets were rumpled, the pillow indented, but the body was missing. Then something moved in the corner of my eye. The reflection in the mirror smiled. "You took my place." I stepped closer, heart pounding. No, I didn't." Its smile widened. "You did. You thought you escaped, but you crossed over. You're not supposed to be here." I shook my head violently. "That's not true. This is my world." The reflection's grin faltered slightly. "Is it? Then why can't you feel your heartbeat?" I froze. I pressed a hand to my chest. Nothing, no pulse, no warmth. The air around me grew heavy, pressing against my skin. My reflection looked almost sad. "You left me in the mirror and I left you out there. Fair trade." It reached toward the glass and I watched powerless as its hand broke the surface, not shattering but rippling. I stumbled backward, shaking my head. No, I want to go back." The reflection's voice softened. "Then open the door, Eli." Behind me, the hallway stretched long, impossibly long. At the end of it, faintly glowing, was a door, red. The same red door I'd seen that first night. The one at the end of the hall. The one I'd sworn I'd never open. But this time, I didn't run. This time I walked toward it. Each step felt heavier, like gravity was pulling me down. The closer I got, the louder the whisper became. Not one voice now, but hundreds, all murmuring the same thing. "Come home." I reached the door. The handle was ice cold under my hand. For a second I hesitated. Then I turned it. The door opened, and on the other side of the door wasn't what I expected. No fire, no screaming, no void, just quiet. The air was still, almost peaceful. I stepped forward and the floor creaked softly beneath my shoes. The space looked like another hallway. Long, narrow, lined with doors on both sides. Each door was identical. Wooden, unmarked, faintly vibrating as though something behind them was breathing. I glanced over my shoulder, but the red door was gone. Only an unbroken wall stretched behind me. A low hum filled the air, distant at first, then growing louder, resonating in my bones. It wasn't mechanical. It was alive. I moved slowly, drawn toward the sound. The first door on my left rattled, shaking on its hinges. I stopped, staring at the doorknob as it turned slightly. "Don't open it," I whispered to myself. The knob stilled, as if it had heard me. I kept walking. The next few doors were silent, but the humming grew louder, layered now. Dozens of tones weaving together like a choir of distorted voices. When I reached the end of the hallway, I found another door. This one was different. It was mirrored. I saw my reflection clearly this time. Not twisted, not delayed, just me. For the first time since this nightmare began, I almost felt relief. Then I saw something behind me in the reflection. A shape. Tall, featureless, standing inches away. I spun around. Nothing. When I looked back, the shape in the mirror had moved closer. Its outline pulsed faintly, as though breathing. "Who are you?" I whispered. The reflection tilted its head. Then slowly its features began to form. Eyes, nose, mouth, until I was staring into my own face again, except this time it didn't smile. This time, it looked afraid. It mouthed something silently. I leaned closer, straining to read its lips. "Behind you." I turned. Something was crawling from the ceiling. Long arms, too many joints, skin stretched thin over black veins. Its head hung upside down, eyes like hollow holes leaking darkness. It moved with impossible speed, scuttling across the ceiling toward me. I dove to the side as it dropped to the floor, landing with a sound like wet wood cracking. Up close, it wasn't faceless. It was wearing one, my face stretched too wide, eyes glassy and unfocused. It lunged. I scrambled backward, slamming into the mirrored door. The thing's hand grazed my arm, leaving a burning cold that sank into my skin. Desperate, I reached behind me, searching for the handle. Anything. My fingers brushed metal, and I yanked the door open. The creature screamed, a guttural, echoing sound that made the air ripple. I threw myself through the doorway. On the other side was darkness, but not empty. It felt thick like smoke or fog, and it moved. Whispers surrounded me again, the same voices from before, speaking in unison. He let it out. He brought it here. Now we feed. I stumbled forward, waving my arms, trying to find solid ground. Shapes moved within the dark. Faces, hands, half-formed bodies pressing against an invisible barrier, reaching for me. "Stop," I screamed. "Leave me alone." One voice rose above the others, calm, deep, familiar. "Eli, you can't run anymore." I froze. That voice, it was mine. From the shadows, a figure stepped forward. It was me again. But this version was wrong, older maybe. Eyes darker, movement slower, deliberate. "I tried to warn you," it said. "What are you talking about? The first night, when you saw the door, you thought it was just a dream." I shook my head. "No, you're just another copy." It sighed, a sound heavy with exhaustion. "We're all copies now. You don't understand, that door didn't lead in. It led through. You opened it both ways." The darkness around us pulsed. Faces screamed silently from within it. "I just wanted it to stop," I whispered. "It doesn't stop," the other me said quietly. "Not until something replaces what you took out." "What do you mean?" He stepped closer, expression grim. "You broke the reflection. You unbalanced it. Every image has a cost, every mirror a memory. When you left your world, something had to fill your space there. That's why it's coming." "What's coming?" He looked past me. I turned, and the dark behind me began to twist, forming into something vast. It was the thing from the ceiling, but larger now, no longer pretending to be me. Its body was an endless tangle of limbs, torsos, and faces pressed together, shifting constantly. Every surface shimmered with faint reflections, as though mirrors were embedded in its skin. The other me whispered, It's the collection. Everything that's ever crossed. The creature reached out with a hand the size of a wall. Run! We both sprinted back toward the mirrored door, but when we reached it, the handle was gone. Just smooth glass. The reflection on the other side stared back, dozens of me distorted, all pounding their fists against the barrier, mouths open in silent screams. The older version of me turned to me. There's only one way to close it. How? You have to become the reflection again. Before I could react, he shoved me backward. I crashed into the glass, but instead of breaking, it absorbed me. The world folded, colors bending, and then everything went silent. When I opened my eyes, I was standing in my apartment again. Morning light filtered through the blinds. Birds chirped outside. The air was warm. Normal. I stumbled into the bathroom and stared at my reflection. It looked back, tired, shaken, but human. I laughed, a broken, breathless sound. It's over, I whispered. But then the reflection blinked, out of sync. I froze. It smiled. You're on the wrong side. I stumbled backward from the mirror, my pulse pounding in my ears. My reflection was still smiling. That cold, deliberate kind of smile that didn't belong to me. I waved my hand in front of my face. The reflection didn't follow. Instead, it tilted its head. I took another step back, my knees nearly giving out. No, this isn't real. The reflection's lips moved. I couldn't hear the words at first, then faintly a whisper filtered through the glass. Let me out. I shook my head violently. No, you're not me. The reflection mimicked the shake, but then it stopped halfway, froze, and pressed its palm against the glass. When it did, I felt it. Pressure, cold and heavy. Like a hand gripping the inside of my chest, I gasped, clutching my sternum. Stop. The glass began to fog. Something pulsed beneath the surface, like a heartbeat, deep and resonant. The reflection's voice grew louder, echoing from every corner of the bathroom. You shouldn't have left. You broke it. You broke everything. Please, I whispered, tears stinging my eyes. I didn't mean to. You don't belong here. The mirror cracked. A long, jagged fracture split my reflection in half, running straight through my face. The light flickered, dimmed, and when it steadied again, the bathroom was wrong. The walls were too close. The ceiling too low. The color had drained from everything, leaving only shades of gray and faint crimson. And the reflection wasn't behind glass anymore. It was standing right in front of me. Up close, it looked almost perfect. Almost. But the eyes, they were empty. And its movements, too smooth, too deliberate. Who are you? I whispered. It smiled. I'm what you left behind. I backed up slowly, but my heel hit something solid. I turned and froze. The doorway was gone. Just a wall now. Where am I? The reflection looked around, almost amused. You're home. It began walking toward me, each step silent but deliberate, eyes locked on mine. I don't want this, I said. I want out. You can't leave, it said simply. Not twice. I stumbled sideways, reaching for the sink. My fingers brushed something cold. The handle. I twisted it desperately. Water burst out dark and thick, splattering across the porcelain like ink. The reflection's smile widened. You see? It's all hollow here. Everything's reflected, even the lies you tell yourself. Why me? I asked. Why any of this? It stopped, head tilting again. Because you looked. Because you wanted to know. Curiosity isn't free, Eli, that name again. My name, but spoken like it belonged to someone else. The floor vibrated beneath my feet. The walls seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting, faint whispers echoing from inside them. One must stay. One must stay. The reflection raised its hand, my hand, and placed it over my chest. I couldn't move. My body locked, frozen. You should have never moved in. Pain exploded through me, sharp and searing. I looked down. Its hand was sinking into my chest, fingers fading through my skin like mist. Stop, I screamed. It leaned in close, its face inches from mine. You already let me in once. You don't get to change your mind. Then everything shattered. Not the glass this time, the world. The floor fell away beneath me. The ceiling split open like torn fabric, and I was falling again, surrounded by fragments of every place I'd ever been. My dorm room, the apartment, the red door, the woods. They all spiraled past me in flashes of color and sound, merging, twisting. Somewhere in the chaos I saw Daniel, the older version of me, standing in a doorway. His voice cut through the noise. You can't destroy it. You can only contain it. I tried to reach for him, but he was gone, swallowed by the dark. When I hit the ground, I landed on something soft and grass. I looked up. The forest, the same one from before. Silent, endless, the air heavy with fog. The red door stood in the distance, freestanding in the middle of a clearing, glowing faintly. I didn't hesitate. I ran toward it, branches scraping my arms, the ground cracking under my feet. But something was following me. I could hear it, the soft drag of footsteps, just out of sync with mine. When I looked back, I saw dozens of figures stepping out from between the trees. All of them me. Each wore a different expression. Fear, rage, sorrow. Some were missing eyes, or faces entirely. They whispered as they walked. You opened it. You left us here. You owe us. I sprinted faster, lungs burning. The red door pulsed brighter, vibrating with energy. When I reached it, I grabbed the handle, but before I could turn it, I felt a hand on my shoulder, cold, familiar. I turned slowly. My reflection stood there again, smiling softly this time. Not cruel, almost sad. You don't get to leave everything behind, it said. Someone has to take your place. I'll do it, I said, voice breaking. I'll stay. Just let them go. It studied me for a long moment. You mean it? Yes, the reflection nodded once. Then you already know what to do. I looked at the door. The whispers grew louder, swirling around me like a storm. My hand shook as I grabbed the handle again. The reflection placed its hand over mine. Goodbye, Eli. I turned the knob. Light, blinding, endless, spilled out, then nothing. Silence. When I opened my eyes, I was standing in my apartment again. The mirror was cracked. The bathroom door was open. But this time there was only one toothbrush on the sink, and when I looked at my reflection, it smiled in sync for the first time perfectly. It's been 3 days since the red door closed. Or at least that's what I think. Time doesn't move the same way anymore. I wake up when the light outside changes, but it's not sunlight. It's something else, softer, almost gray. Like the world outside my window is covered in dust. The first morning, I thought everything was normal. My phone worked, the power was on. My reflection was back to normal. I went through my routine, made coffee, sat at my desk, opened my laptop. But then I noticed something strange. The time in the corner of the screen never changed. 7:03 a.m. frozen. I restarted the computer. Same thing. When I checked my phone again, the battery was at 100%. It had been since I woke up. No notifications. No service. No sound from outside. That's when I started to realize I wasn't really back. I tried opening the door to leaving, but it didn't lead to the hallway anymore. It opened into a blank white room. No furniture. No ceiling I could see. Just emptiness. I closed it, heart pounding. When I opened it again, it was the kitchen. I tried the bathroom next. The mirror was fixed, spotless, but when I looked into it, I wasn't alone. My reflection was still smiling. It didn't move at first, it just stared, eyes unblinking, mouth curling slightly upward. I tried to mimic the expression, but I couldn't make it match. Then it tilted its head, and behind it I saw the red door. "Where are you?" I whispered. The reflection blinked once, then mouthed something. "Right here." The lights flickered. The sound that followed was faint, like something scraping inside the walls. I backed away slowly, my pulse racing. That's when I heard the knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks from the other side of my front door. I froze. My throat tightened. No one should have been here. No one could be here. Another knock. Louder. Then a voice. "Eli, you forgot something." I didn't recognize the voice. Not exactly. It sounded like mine, distorted, echoing slightly like it was being played through a speaker underwater. I didn't move. "Open the door." The knob rattled. I stepped back, shaking my head. "No. Stay out. You made a promise." The words hit me like a blow to the chest. The reflection in the mirror started to move again. It reached out and pressed its palm against the glass, its eyes locked on mine. "One must stay," it whispered. My phone buzzed on the counter. The screen lit up, unknown caller. I stared at it, trembling. It rang again, then again. Finally, I picked it up. "Hello?" For a moment, there was only static. Then a voice, unfaint, distant. "You did it. Who is this?" "You closed it. But it's not gone. Where are you?" "You'll see soon." The line went dead. The apartment was silent again. That's when I noticed the photos on the wall. They'd changed. Every picture. Me, my friends, my family. Their faces were slightly off. Tilted heads, strange smiles, eyes too bright. In one of them, My reflection was looking directly at the camera, even though I wasn't. I took a step back and something crunched under my shoe. Glass, the mirror. A hairline crack had formed across it again, spreading, growing, spidering outward. I watched, paralyzed as the crack widened, revealing something dark beneath the surface. Not a reflection, a shadow, and it was moving. It pressed closer, the shape of a hand forming against the other side. Then another. Then another. The glass began to bulge outward. I turned and ran to the front door. When I opened it, the hallway wasn't there anymore. It was the forest. The same trees. The same fog. And in the distance I saw it. The red door. Standing open. Waiting. Behind me, the mirror shattered completely. The sound was deafening, a sharp explosion that seemed to echo forever. The air grew cold and I felt something pulling at me, not physically but deeper inside. I turned toward the bathroom one last time. My reflection was gone, but I could still feel it. Behind me, beside me, inside me, whispering. You came back. That's all that matters. The world flickered, colors bleeding into each other. I looked down at my hands. They were fading, edges turning translucent. The whispers grew louder, swirling all around. Balance restored. He's home. We're free. The red door glowed brighter, its outline pulsing in rhythm with my heartbeat. I stepped toward it, the last fragments of my world dissolving behind me. I reached out. My fingers brushed the frame, the voice. My voice whispered in my ear, this time, don't open it. I hesitated. The door began to close on its own, slow and deliberate, the light dimming to black. As it sealed shut, I heard one final sound, a breath deep and ragged, like someone waking from a long sleep. Then silence. Now I'm writing this because I don't know what else to do. Maybe someone will find it. Maybe it'll just disappear like everything else. If you're reading this, if you ever move into an apartment that feels wrong, if your roommate doesn't sleep, if there's a door that shouldn't exist, don't open it, don't talk to your reflection. And whatever you do, never let it take your place, because once it does, it won't just live your life, it'll be you forever.